Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Get Sweaty. I am your friendly neighborhood soda, as always, joined by Ben, Salt, and 50. How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
50 always
Happy
is trying to
Independence Day.
make you not say the intro. That's what I'm seeing each week, is that 50 does something to make you not say the intro without laughing.
Yeah,
I'm trying to be as tied to the main topic as possible.
okay.
Also, I gotta say this. I gotta say this. Happy 73rd Independence Day to the wonderful country of Israel.
Yes, happy Independence Day to Israel. I just learned it was a couple days ago. Yeah, I was wondering where you went. I'm looking in the green room. I'm like, where the fuck did 50 go?
We're in the green room. I was just dancing along to the intro music.
Thank you.
But anyways, yes, as another episode of Get Sweaty, our top 5 show every week. This week's actually going to kick off a series that we're going to be doing. It was Ben who came up with the topic, correct?
Yep.
Okay, Ben, if you want to introduce this one, go right ahead.
Well, I decided to do the top 5, at that time, the top 5 TV intros. But I guess what we just decided is this week is only going to be live action.
Yeah, and then we're going to do other lists in the following week, and we'll touch on that at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Okay, without further ado, Ben, if you want to kick it off.
My number 5 might get content, but is the end credits. Because the beginning credits don't have lyrics, but it's the end credits to Frasier.
Oh,
Tom Salad and the Scrambled Eggs.
not on my,
Almost made my list.
Sung by Kelsey Grammer himself.
not on my list, but that universe will come back. They're not on my list, but that universe will come back.
Yeah.
Whoa. I see where you're going with that.
Yeah,
I
me
see
too.
you.
Yeah, they have fun song.
Yeah.
There's something simple and light and breezy, and I just snap to it every time I hear it. So,
And the lyrics make no sense, which is what I love.
none whatsoever.
Which is what I love about it. And honestly, almost made my list. But to be quite frank, I haven't seen that much Frasier for me to justify it.
That's fair.
But it is.
That's funny.
More page than I did the other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Also, didn't it ran longer than its
Did.
parent show?
The same.
Was
Oh,
that- oh, okay.
Both ran for 11 seasons.
But doesn't
Okay.
Kelsey Grammer hold the record for playing the same character?
Yeah, for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's coming back.
And they're coming back. And I'm looking forward to the reboot. I'm sorry. I love that show, and I'm looking forward to the revival.
Hey man, you don't need to justify it. I felt the same way about Fuller House.
hey, with me, I don't judge revivals because if it's good, I don't judge things until I see it. So if it
Right.
comes up and it's shitty, then I'm going to be like, look at this shitty revival, another shitty revival. If they do the revival and it's good, I'm going to be like, yo, go watch that show. It's good. I keep good.
Or you can just, if the revival is bad, you can just ignore it and watch the original. That's what I always say about reboots and remakes. Like, you don't have to hate on the idea of them. You can just watch them on their own merits.
And revivals and reboots will never ruin your childhood because those movies are still there. It's not like they were ever.
Yeah, they still exist.
Yeah.
So it would be different if they were like,
The Lion
we're gonna remake this movie, but then we're also gonna take the old stuff off DVD, off of all platforms. You're never gonna find it again. It's erased. Then I would understand being pissed off.
Like George Lucas.
Yeah.
Like they did with the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
However, I mean, I gotta say this: the original Lion King is still around. You can still watch it. You don't have to only watch the new one.
What's the record for Lion King reference on Get Sweaty? I want to know. Like how far in?
It's not gonna get past the spots,
3,000.
not including our intro.
Right, not including our intro.
True, but to be fair, though, Saul, to be fair, I had my perfect opportunity to make my weekly Lion King reference as part of one of my picks. And then someone, I won't mention who, decided to change the formula for the topics. And I had to find some other way to shoehorn the Lion King into the
I
conversation.
wouldn't be surprised if one day 50 shows up wearing a Simba costume.
It'll be like the Broadway show. But to get
don't give
back
me
on
ideas.
topic, Matt, you're number
Yeah.
5.
This, I think, is going to be a punt. I know it's going to be a punt. It's Fresh Prince.
Punt. Punt.
Yeah,
Wow, a triple punt. That's rare.
yeah. Only reason it's not higher is because I love these other ones way more. But go ahead. 50, you're number 5.
Okay, so my number 5, just to throw in a little bit of Israeli isms into the conversation, is I Don't Want to Grow Up. And no, this is not a Peter Pan show. It's the theme song for Traffic Light, the Israeli show, which after they won an Emmy, the Americans decided to make their version as well. Again, going back to the topic of revivals and stuff, but the original song sung by the great Israeli singer Mookie, and yes, that's his name. Mookie sang the original song about just straight up, as the topic says, I never want to grow up. And just basically, he says all the shitty things that adults have to deal with every single day as reasoning for why he doesn't want to grow up.
I dig that.
It doesn't quite fit the theme of the show. The main theme of the show, basically, there's 3 friends. One of them is a bachelor, one of them is married with children, and one of them is currently in a relationship. And that's where the traffic light metaphor comes in. The guy who's a bachelor is free-spirited. He's the green. The guy who's married, he's the red. And the main character who's in a relationship is the yellow. But it's a great song to listen to. And some of my friends from high school actually did a cover for it as part of their band back when they had a band in high school.
Nice.
Very nice.
But
When you said the name,
I'll put the song later in the group chat. You can listen to it. You won't understand the lyrics, obviously, but it's a great song to listen to.
when you said the name Mookie, I kind of chuckled to myself because there is a cartoon I used to watch when I was a kid called Mysteries of the Bible, because I come from a religious family, and one of the characters' name is Mookie.
Wait. When you said Mookie, insert sports reference here, I thought of Mookie Betts, who was formerly of the Boston Red Sox, now part of the LA Dodgers outfielder.
One of the best.
Go Dodgers.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to clarify, though, his real name is not Mookie. That's just a stage name. But, I mean, that's the name that everyone calls him. And Mookie is sort of a...
Soda, no. Why would you do such a thing? Why would you do such a thing?
That's for that.
You're from Vancouver. New York
You're
on
not
the
even
other
in the
side.
same country.
So,
No. But the other thing is, you're not even in the same time zone. Like, you should be a Seattle Mariners fan if you're from Vancouver.
hey, that's just the way it goes. Mostly, I'm just more of a fan of their history. That's really what it is.
Hey, if you want to be a fan of history, the first team to ever win a World Series
Red Sox, I know.
was the Red Sox.
Yeah. But it's hard to deny the Yankees history. But yeah, it's honestly, I should be more a Blue Jays fan than anything else. Don't you think?
Yeah, you should be either a Blue Jays fan because you're Canadian, or you should be a Seattle Mariners because of how close it is to you.
Yeah.
Come be a Dodgers fan. We'll have you.
I do like the jersey.
And 50's like sports.
Yeah.
I remember when Saul gave me shit for putting the Lion King reference today, but you guys talk about sports, and I just feel left out of the conversation.
We do have to educate you in North American sports at some time.
Yeah.
Hey,
But yeah,
Israel has a national baseball team,
That is true.
so
that you probably know of more than I do. So
And Jen Sturger's husband played for the team.
Yep.
yeah, you mentioned that a bunch of times. But yeah, just let me to finish my point. Mookie is sort of a nickname for dogs.
Oh. That actually makes sense in terms of that cartoon. He's a stray.
Okay. But yeah, Mookie, and I promise you, if you look him up, he kind of looks like Peter Capaldi.
I'm because your mom is in the chat and she spelt it, so I'm gonna look that up.
I'm not sure that's the correct way to spell Mookie, but you know what? Where's my?
While 50 looks that up, I can go to my number 5.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sunday, Monday, happy days.
Punt.
Punt. Okay, go, man.
Oh wow, so many. I love that we went from last week with basically no punts to all punts today.
I think that you're going to go because my number 4 is Fresh Prince, so I know that's name. Yeah.
That's still a punt, I'm afraid.
My number 4 is
your number 4.
This is actually not the season 1 version. This is the one used from every season after that. It is the Cheap Trick cover of that 70s song from that 70s show. It's
all right.
Yes. It's the original song is by a band that who the heck was it? Big Six. Anyways, the theme song is a cover, but I prefer the Cheap Trick version. It was even released on their Greatest Hits album. It is just a banger song, and it's one of those ones that, like as 50 just proved, everybody knows it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's one of the best.
50 in Israel knows it.
It's one of the best intros to a show ever. Like it is memorable. It is a catchy tune. It is a tune that even if you didn't know about the show, you could sit down and listen to it and rock out to.
So, okay, I have a question. Which version do you like more? The one in the oil car or the one from the final season when they're oil? Okay.
It's the one in the car.
The car is the best because you see all the characters in different situations and how each character handles a car ride with a bunch of people singing in the back.
Yeah. So the actual name of the song is In the Street. It was originally done by a band called Big Star in 1972, but the version I prefer is the one by Cheap Trick.
Mm-hmm. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
As I do the bass for.
Okay, 50. You're next.
You can basically skip the Saul as far as I'm concerned because mine is the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But I figured since it's my turn, this is what the guy looks like.
Oh wow!
Doesn't he look a little bit like Peter Capaldi?
Yeah.
The eyebrows. You see these eyebrows? They're attack eyebrows.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Okay, so then Soul, what is your number 4?
My number 4, I don't know if this is going to be a punt, but thank you for being a friend. Golden Girls.
Honorable mentions.
I love the Golden Girls. Betty White, still kicking. Needs to continue kicking for years to come. But I've talked about that show last in what was it? Was it our top 90 shows or what was the top TV shows? Sitcoms, top sitcoms. I did have the Golden Girls in there. I love the Golden Girls. I love the humor of that. And I also love the theme song. So Golden Girls.
Yo, Golden Girls is a great show. Oh yeah. No, that unfortunately that's on my honorable mentions list, but it was a tough one to cut.
I never watched the original Golden Girls, but I did watch the Israeli version, which I watched a lot with my mom. And Mom, since you're in the chat, remind me, did the Israeli version have a theme song, or was it just a quick intro? Yeah, I'll wait for you to respond. But yeah, I should probably get down to watch the Golden Girls at some point, especially since I talked about how the Americans basically did their version of Traffic Light. I probably should do the original version of Golden Girls at some point.
Oh yeah, it's definitely worth it.
All right, Ben, you're number 3.
Ben?
Yeah.
Ben!
Happy Days.
It was Happy Days?
Yeah, Happy Days.
One of the more iconic theme songs of all time.
It's iconic, it's catchy, I like it, but it's not the original from that show.
I don't think it is, no.
No, The original song was Dance Around the Clock, I believe.
Oh, Rock Around the Clock.
Rock Around the Clock.
Yep.
So I will tell you, I had Happy Days originally in my honorable mentions, and I had a different song on there. But I was listening to the songs today, and I bumped my number 5 down to my honorable mentions, and I bumped Happy Days up because I was just really jamming out to Sunday, Monday, Happy Days.
It's funny enough. It appears at work every once in a while. I do hear it over the radio.
Nice.
And it's fun. It's a fun song, and another show is a great show.
Yeah,
One of the
encapsulates the time.
Mhm.
It perfectly encapsulates the time.
Mm-hmm,
And
definitely.
it lasted a long time. It lasted 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to Happy Days, we know who Robin Williams is.
No, Shazbat.
You gotta love it. And Tom Hanks, but I don't know what can fit.
Yeah, and also introduction to Pat Morita, who is the original
Mm-hmm.
Arnold. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of other guest stars. Ted McGinley was on there towards the end.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And because of that show, he almost didn't get the Karate Kid because they were like, we don't want a comedian as Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
But then they had heard his voice in the audition process, and they were like, no, he's Mr. Miyagi.
Oh yeah. And if you do want to watch it, they just released a documentary on him called I Am Miyagi, and they do touch into that. It's worth checking out.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll definitely have to check that out. I love Pat Morita.
Oh, he
Rest in peace. Rest
Rest
in
in
peace, my dude.
He actually made a cameo in Boy Meets World as Arnold, if you remember.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And actually, that whole episode was kind of a love letter to Happy Days.
It was, yeah. 50, do you have any thoughts on Happy Days?
Didn't see it. No, that's why I've been silent this whole time. I missed a lot of American shows because most of them came out at a time where I was like, I'm not watching shows that I don't understand the language of, and then obviously later I was kind of forced to learn English in order to understand the shows that I want to watch. But none of them were.
Or that is worth looking for because a lot of iconic stuff came out of Happy Days, including something the show.
Yeah, it's true. That is where it originated because Fonzie literally jumped a shark.
Yeah, I was aware that it came from a TV show. I just forgot which one. So
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it also it's very corny. It's very corny.
Yeah, it's super.
Yeah.
Am I detecting a possible candidate for recapping the past coming on?
It would be tough.
It's tough because it's hard to find on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Like,
never mind.
honestly, if
Well,
you
I
want
have
to watch
fun
it,
about it.
you need to watch it an episode at a time on Nick at Night because that's the way I saw it.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's also one of those shows, the first season is vastly different. There's no laugh track. It's a little more serious.
But then they knew what they had, and they were like, "No, we need to make this a little less serious."
Well, the first 2 seasons, I believe, were not taped in front of a live audience.
Yeah.
No.
So, and then completely changed it up a few times.
Yeah. Basically, once it became a pop culture phenomenon.
And then, I think it's one of the first shows that had a mysterious sibling disappear.
Well, that's where the name for it came from, the Chuck Cunningham syndrome.
Yeah.
So originally, 50, just to fill you in, there was 3 Cunningham children. There was Chuck, there was Richie, and then there was Joni. But Chuck, he went upstairs one episode, and he never came back. It was never mentioned again. And then in the final episode, Papa Cunningham says, and I'm so proud of my 2 children.
Yeah.
So they put off a character and never mentioned him again. And that's been a recurring... that was the first instance of it. So now every time it happens in another show, like Family Matters or what have you, they call it the Chuck Cunningham syndrome.
Maybe the doctor rechanged the timeline. And
Yeah. Have you seen all of like the memes of it though? Like it's so fun. It's like, what is he doing up there?
You all know whose fault it is. It's Mary Allen's fault. She keeps messing with that timeline.
In this case, I was going to blame Mork, but sure.
Matt.
Maybe it was Agatha all along.
Matt, you're number 3.
Yeah.
So I said earlier that the Frasier universe would be coming back. This is Where Everybody Knows Your Name from Cheers. Hands down, one of the most iconic theme songs. Heck, they even brought the joke back in How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was in my honorable mentions.
Yeah, it's such a good song, and it basically encapsulates the bar life. And just everything about it is beautiful. It's such a good song by Gary Portnoy. Oh, yeah.
So, which version of the cast did you like better? Shelley Long Years or the Kirstie Alley years?
I'm going to have to go for the Shelley Long Years because of one character. Coach.
Makes sense.
Love Coach. Yeah.
Fun fact for you, that song was actually featured in an episode of the highly acclaimed animated show Adventure Time.
Oh.
Nice.
And more to that point, that gives us arguably the most conclusive clue to the timeline of the Mushroom Wars. And if you don't know what the Mushroom Wars is, a quick spoilery overview. Basically, World War III happened, and the entire plot of the show, most of it anyways, takes place 1,000 years after World War III, after a piece of the Earth was destroyed, and all the characters basically live in the hole that was created from the piece that was destroyed. And one of the main characters is seen in a flashback in the aftermath of the war, singing that song, which gives us the indication that he either grew up watching Cheers, or maybe the World War III, the Mushroom Wars, happened when Cheers was at the highest popularity.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's the because the timeline of the show is very confusing, but that's the most conclusive hint or clue of when that happened. And by the way, just in case you were wondering, the Mushroom Wars was named after the mushroom clouds from nuclear explosions.
Oh,
so yeah, it sounds very childish and fun, but yeah, once you actually get that, that's the whole show in a nutshell. It looks childish and fun and funny, but underneath it's a very deep and one of the smartest shows I've ever seen. Yes, Ben.
I'll be honest. Every time you said Mushroom Wars, I kept thinking you were talking about Super Mario.
That's exactly what I thought every time they mentioned the Mushroom Wars on the show. Until you realize that no, people died. There was a nuclear holocaust in an animated kids show on Cartoon Network. So and this I believe this was around the same time that the Clone Wars was on Cartoon Network. So yeah, that was a very specific era of Cartoon Network shows.
Yeah. But yeah, to bring it back to Cheers a little bit, the hell happened there? Bring it back to Cheers a little bit. It is one of those ones. As soon as you hear the lyrics and the intro, you know what it is. You know, making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Yeah, it's just it's a beautiful song.
Where everybody knows
your
name.
And of course, that show gave us the Norm.
Right. And then Frasier.
Frasier has to be the longest running character on TV. I gotta look that up. But yeah, okay, so that's my number 3. 50, what is your number 3?
Our whole universe was in a hot, dense state and nearly 14 billion years ago.
Honorable mention. Canadian band, by the way.
Oh, really?
I
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to say that I miss the show because the show had 12, 13 seasons.
12.
So yeah, I've heard that theme song a lot. So, but I still, it's one of those shows that, for my money, could go on forever because it's basically just a bunch of friends having fun, being nerdy together. And also the theme song is great, especially if you actually look up the lyrics, which is what I did. and understand exactly what they're saying.
See,
And
I've
also,
never really watched The Big Bang Theory, so this is my blind spot.
My dad loves this show to
Everyone.
death. Every time I'm over there, it's on.
my mom loves it also, and she says she loves the show so much because they remind her of me.
Oh,
She says I'm like Leonard and Sheldon put together. Well,
Is that a compliment or not?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Mom, if you're still watching, let us know in the live chat.
I have to ask 50, who's your favorite character on that show? You have one?
I mean, it's gotta be Penny.
yeah.
Penny.
How can
Penny.
it not be anyone but
I'm,
Sheldon?
I'm referring to Sheldon, by the way, just to make it clear, because I mean he's a terrible role model, but he's just so funny. And I mean, people give oh shit, the name escapes me for a second there. Hold on,
Jim Parsons?
Jim Parsons. Yeah, sorry. He played one of the Muppets in the Muppet movie. I'm just trying to memorize his name. But people like to give Jim Parsons a lot of shit for playing Sheldon because Sheldon is
money, babe.
yeah, but I mean, it's a very annoying character. That's why people give him so much shit. But what people need to realize the amount of bullshit he needed to memorize because it was in the script. And he needed to say that with a straight face while still playing the character. That's commitment.
Mm-hmm.
He did it for what, 12, 13 seasons? I mean, you want to give shit to the character, that's fine. I mean, he deserves it, but just leave the actor out of this.
Yeah,
Okay?
and I think we can continue that too. I know that we're all watching The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like, you could be like, fuck that white Captain America there trying to take the mantle. Don't do that to Wyatt Russell.
No.
He does not
leave
deserve
Wyatt
that.
Russell alone.
Wyatt Russell is doing an incredible job.
Phenomenal.
He's playing a character just like he's supposed to.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
For those of you out there who feel like giving Wyatt Russell crap, I want you to think about this. Captain America would never do that.
True. Yeah.
But
And
yes,
also
Tony Stark.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but since you brought it up, Saul, I wanted to say, I mean, it's horrible that people are doing this. However, from a certain point of view, that is probably something that people in the Avengers universe would do if they saw a new Captain America show up.
I think
But still, it shouldn't happen in the real world.
It shows to how phenomenal of a job that he's doing. He's playing the character that he's supposed to. We're supposed to feel this way about his character, not Wyatt Russell,
Not
his
the actor.
character. But that's for another conversation.
Yeah.
So,
The guy's practically Hollywood royalty at this point. Leave him alone.
yeah. So we'll go to my number 3, and this might be the most modern one on our list. And it's from Drake and Josh. It's I never thought that it'd be
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Found a way. Found a
way. I love Drake and Josh.
Be over because I think by that point that I was in my teens when that show was on the air, so I never watched any of that stuff.
Yeah, that's out of my generation. I know it because my brother used to love it.
We're in the same generation. It's just out of your age group. Use that. But yeah, Drake and Josh goes, man, I watched that show a lot. I did not watch the what's the follow-up with their little sister? Oh no, that's not the follow-up. It's a different show, but with the person iCarly. iCarly was out of my age group. I did not see it.
A few episodes and I didn't really like what I saw.
Yeah, but Drake and Josh definitely was part of my childhood, and I love that opening song. And Drake does a really good job singing the opening song.
I love the fact that they also kept their real first names for the characters.
Right. And if you look at Josh now, like, man, he lost a lot of weight. He got real buff. He looks great.
Yeah. He definitely took care of himself.
See, I'm my age where I was always with my me. Recently, I was more of a Kenan and Kel fan.
Oh, I loved Kenan and Kel.
So that's small. That's the same thing, basically.
So
I will say Kenan and Kel over Drake and Josh, but I love the Drake and Josh theme song.
Okay.
So here's my thing. Like, every time I've seen those shows on TV or whatever, what turns me off, and this sounds a little pretentious, is the overacting.
It's a kid show.
It's a Nickelodeon show.
We had good shows like that when we were kids that did not overact like that.
I mean, though,
overacting.
Like, the worst example, I'm sorry, is That's So Raven. That is the worst example of overacting. But that's just me.
I will say, though, if you go back and look as a Nick at Night kid, which I was, when you go back, the older shows are super corny, and there's a lot of overacting there, too.
No,
it's just that there's the love there.
I don't have Nick at Night up here. I never had those Nickelodeon shows. I probably wasn't exposed to that growing up, so to me, that's probably why it was a turnoff later in life, because I was never exposed to this stuff growing up.
So, like, the Nick at Night basically was all of the older shows. So it started with shows that came out in the 60s all the way to the 70s and 80s. So it had all of the span of those shows. And there's sitcoms in general just have a lot of overacting. Big Bang Theory, like from the commercials, has a lot of overacting.
Biggest example of overacting, we were on a break!
I just passed those episodes.
A message from my mom. Just wanted to point that out.
Go see The Big Bang. 50. Come on.
Yeah,
I'm the one that needs to see it.
Yeah, no, I was talking about the actual Big Bang, not Big Bang Theory. She said Big Bang. So that's why I said the actual Big Bang. You need to go back in time to the actual Big Bang.
What makes you think I didn't already see it?
You never know what they're up to over there on that side of the world.
Yeah,
true.
Also, final point on Drake and Josh. Isn't it kind of funny that all three of them kind of went into voice acting after the show was canceled?
Yeah.
Drake,
but hey, a lot of regular actors have gone into voice acting too.
Yeah, but you basically don't really see them too much, other than like Drake is Spider-Man, Josh was one of the possums in the Ice Age films, and Miranda was Margot from the Despicable Me franchise. I'm just showing off my.
I will say that Drake and Miranda have done a little bit more voice acting than Josh have.
Yeah, Josh Peck has done a lot more on camera stuff.
Okay.
But Ben, you're number 2.
Mr. Ben.
Somebody say
Punt.
Honorable mention.
Punt.
I have a love-hate relationship with that song. Some days I love it. Some days I get it away from me.
Shame. Okay. What's your number 2?
It is the theme song to Perfect Strangers, Nothing's Gonna Stop Me Now. Because if you ever need a morale boost, that song is the one to do it.
Nice.
And I know it's a show that none of you have ever seen.
Is it a Canadian show?
No. It's a TGIF show from started in the late 80s, went through the 90s. Family Matters spun off of it. It's
okay.
Yeah, I talked about it when we did our sitcoms. It's
That's right.
The foreign cousin who moves in with the American cousin and all that stuff. But it's. I'm trying to bring up the lyrics. Just give me a second. I can't speak highly of that song. Lyrics. There we go. Yeah. You know what? I can't do it justice. I would have to play it, but I don't want us to get copyright issues. So I'm just going to leave it as my number 2 because it is a very uplifting song. If you're ever in a down place, just listen to this.
You can show it to us after the show is over.
Yeah, I will
And
definitely.
I'll send you guys the Drake and Josh one because I think you guys would like it.
Well, Matt, I think we have a number one. If I can have a elimination.
Maybe. Anyways, 50. What is your number 2?
So no one told you life was gonna be this way. I knew it was gonna be punted. Come on.
Say number 1, Ben. That's not even on my list.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm wrong. Okay, wow.
Wow, that's interesting.
I'll explain
Okay.
why.
My number 2. Moving on up
Oh, the
to
Jeffersons.
the east side.
Yes.
Yes, the Jeffersons. Ah, dude, that soul in it. Soul music.
Yes.
Great
man.
intro. I love that intro. And the funny thing is, I knew that song is so prolific to me that I knew the song before I ever saw the show.
Really?
Yeah. So I think it's an awesome song. If you haven't heard it, go listen to it. It's great.
It totally is. It's up there with it's up there with iconic because it's one of those ones you start singing and everyone will hey, you know what that is.
Yeah.
I think I just listened to it for the first time right before the show started when I was looking for other examples for my list. But
Let's go into our honorable mention.
Yeah. So Ben, start us off with that.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, my honorable mentions are. Okay, bear with me. I have to show you something for one of my honorable mentions. It's a mixture of 2 songs. It's a mixture of The Brady Bunch and Game of Thrones. And you have to see this. 1 second. You have to see this. 1 second.
Trying to picture it in my head right now before you play it. Now there's a story.
that's a hybrid I never thought I'd get to see.
1 second. Oh shit.
You hit play.
I know, but I think maybe not. Let's see. 1 second.
Is that Will Wheaton?
Yeah.
Speaking of Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, exactly.
We done.
Wheaton!
Did you turn the sound on by the chance?
We can hear
Oh
it.
yeah. You need to share audio when you do it.
Shit. Okay. 1 second. I'm sorry.
Okay, well,
You're
Ben,
good, Ben.
so my honorable mentions are All in the Family, Golden Girls, and Smallville.
Smallville.
Yeah, 50.
Okay, so I have 5, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
2 of them are Israeli shows. It's Tel Aviv Never Sleeps, which is a song written before the show in question, but it was used as the main theme song for the show. The Friends of Naor, Naor's Friends, whichever way you want to translate it. I mentioned this show before. It's sort of like the closest that Israeli television has ever gotten to Seinfeld, where like a popular comedian with his friends sandwiched between stand-up shows. So yeah, that song is great. A song that my mom will kill me for not putting on this list, but A Matter of Time by my favorite Israeli singer of all time, Gidi Gov, which is also the name of the TV show it was associated with. And the other 3, I'm just going to very quickly sing through them. It's time to play the music. It's time to
I never thought about that.
meet the Muppets on the Muppet Show tonight.
Oh, I never thought about the Muppets.
So yeah, there's that. There's
Don't
also
you dare throw Simba.
it was right over here. I don't know what happened. I don't know where the camera is, but there's Simba. So yeah, another honorable mention. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Yeah, I can't snap my fingers. Sorry about that. It's a problem since I was a child. But yeah, the Addams Family.
How am I right?
I
I
can do
can do
both.
both. I can do them with both, especially not after my new job where I had to really overwork my fingers. But yeah, my
You
last.
should probably specify.
Yeah, I lift heavy things, and my fingers are very
I would
slow.
still specify further than
He's
that.
living up to the 50 Shades nickname.
Yeah, guys, I only work at a factory for garden hoses. Come on.
That's what you want to call it.
Yeah, the final honorable mention. Final honorable mention as I try to quickly segue from that debacle. Love and marriage, love and marriage goes together like a horse and carriage. Yeah, that's all my honorable mentions. What about you, Saul? How can we make fun of you now?
All right, so my honorable mentions, I have Three's Company.
Oh, yes.
I have Cheers, where everybody knows your name. I also have the da-da-da-da
Nice.
for Addams Family. I have The Sopranos.
That had lyrics, really?
Yes, it did.
Yeah,
And the song originated before the show. So, and then it was mentioned before in Bad Light by Matt, but I love the theme song. That's So Raven. I grew up with that show. So, and I also have That 70s Show. Again, the Cheap Trick version.
Yes.
I gotta mention a quick thing here about The Sopranos. So I'll try to keep this short. There was this, I think there still is, by the way, but there's this Israeli sort of journalist who kind of specializes in looking into shady businesses who are kind of doing wrongs and shutting them down, basically. That's his whole show. And a couple of years ago, they actually made a new intro for his show, which is basically The Sopranos intro with the song, with him in the car driving around and looking around. And every time he looks out the window in his car, you see one of the businesses he's closed down. And they're all like looking at him with like the look of content, waiting to kill him.
Wow.
That's a interesting way of, that's an interesting marketing. I'll say that.
Yeah. All right, Ben, what's this video you want to show us?
Okay, let me pull it up. Honorable mention time.
Here's the story of a lovely lady who was bringing up 3 kids, what a pest. He had hair of gold, like his uncle, because of incest. Here's the story of a man named Stark. Ned was noble, so he died pretty quick. And there's one man named Theon Greyjoy. They cut off his dick. Till the one day when these ladies met these fellows, and they slipped each other very graphic bones. And this group must somehow murder families. That's the way we all play the Game of Thrones. The Game of Thrones. The Game of Thrones. That's the
Sorry,
way
Charles dance.
we all play the Game of Thrones.
Peter Dinklage is the imp.
Nice.
I cannot wait for the special episode where they go to Hawaii.
Sorry about that, I don't have to say it.
What were the rest of your honorable mentions, Ben? Did you have more?
Women's One, but only in season 5.
Yeah, because they didn't use lyrics up until then, yeah.
Yeah.
And, okay, I don't know. They sure had no theme song, but we never heard no lyrics except for one time. It's Emma's theme from Once Upon a Time.
Oh, okay.
Her song in the musical episode is the theme song. Can't remember it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
I'll give you that. I see what's an honorable mention because it's
Yeah.
not an actual thing,
Yeah.
but I get it. I get you.
Okay.
I have one more honorable mention I want to honor. It's actually not a real sitcom, but this was a phenomenon when it aired a couple years ago. I wonder if everybody has seen this.
Too many cooks.
Yeah. No, but has anybody not seen this?
Nope.
Okay, I'm not going to play all of it because it is a long ass video, but I highly recommend everybody watch it. I will send it in the group chat afterwards because it is
Okay.
bonkers.
Okay. So Matt,
Ben,
you're
Ben.
Ben. Your
No,
number one.
I mean, my number one, I'm flexible. I thought I would be sharing this with somebody. Mine is, so no one told you life is going to be this way. I
Okay.
think from,
go ahead.
I think from friends, this classic. Every time I hear it, it takes me back to the show.
Okay. Reason why it's nowhere even sniffing close to my list is because of how often it is played. It started to get on my nerves after a certain point.
The reason it hasn't sniffed my list is because I don't like that show.
Nobody likes that.
The only good thing about that show is Phoebe.
Chandler.
Chandler, he's okay.
I grew up with
Be
it.
anymore.
I'm sorry. I grew. What?
He did a Chandler joke.
Yeah.
I grew up with it, so I'm sorry I like it so much.
No. It's perfect. It's perfectly fine. I don't have any ill will towards anyone who likes that show, especially how long it ran, how people like grew up with that show. To me, I saw it later in life, and I have issues with some of the things of that show, and that's why I personally don't like that show.
I'm
A lot
not.
of that stuff does not hold up. Like Ben and I are currently rewatching it. A lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it doesn't have issues. I'm just saying I overlook like.
No, 100%. That's why, like, with me, it is a great song. I will give you that. It is a good song, but I just don't like the show.
You paraphrase Matt, fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough. But the reason why it's so high up on my list is primarily because I used it in a video that I made a couple of years ago. I basically made an intro to Collider Live with that song.
Nice.
Yeah, you have to send that to us.
I will. It's one of my favorite videos that I've ever done.
Nice.
And I think Jen Kemp, Shmoran player, replied with like a gif of Ross going.
Nice.
Okay, Matt, you're number one. And it isn't you. I know what it is.
Okay. Everywhere you look, everywhere you go. It's Full House. I mean, I love that song to pieces. I love all the music that's come out of that show. Like,
I assume I was like, it's probably gonna be Full House for him. How much he talks about that show.
Oh yeah, like Ben said about Friends. I'm the same with Full House. Is it a good show? Not necessarily, no. But I mean, it's so ingrained with my childhood and the opening theme song. It's just I love it so much, especially the full version.
Yeah, and that's probably too with Full House. It's like I watched that as a kid, so I feel in the same vein as you. And I think that really changes the way you view certain things, as if you saw them growing up or not.
Absolutely.
I will say I'm not a fan of the Carly Rae Jepsen version from Fuller House. Not a fan.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but the original Jesse Fredericks version is amazing. And I can't remember how long ago this was, probably like 10 years ago, whatever, but John Stamos appeared on Fallon, but he appeared as Jesse and the Rippers with the band. With the original.
I remember this. They
did a medley of stuff from Full House, and then what they ended with was the theme song. It was just like, yeah.
Oh, I have to see that. You need to send that link.
And if I remember correctly, Aunt Vicky made a cameo at the very end of that video, right?
Yes, she did, yes, before she went to jail.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's Full House with a bullet, and I don't think that'll ever change.
All right, 50.
Somebody save me. I mean, it's beyond just being a good song. The show is about Superman. Like, could you find a more fitting song to start the beginning of his journey every episode.
I love this show. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Great song.
I think it's my favorite superhero show, live action or otherwise.
I will say again, it's probably going to break your guys' heart. Another blind spot of mine.
Don't worry, we'll fix that.
It's okay. I mean, here's the positive. It ran from 2001 to 2011, so it's not too outdated as far as like a modern superhero show. It's not too outdated, and I'm pretty sure you, just like me, were in high school or at least elementary school, somewhere around those years.
Ben and I graduated the same year as Clark Kent in that show.
Same week. Same week.
Wow, really? Wow.
Yeah.
I graduated high school in 2012.
I graduated in
I'm
2011. He graduated from high school.
Okay. The reason why, like, you all know how much I do enjoy this show, but the theme song never really honestly did it for me. Like, I mean, when it popped up in that Crisis episode, oh, dude, I was all over.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's not one I go back to listen to. Like, I do, every time it pops up and I watch the DVD or whatever, I do skip it. I'm sorry.
I really think that Smallville and I'm sure I'm going to go back and rewatch. I can't say I feel the same way about the other shows in the Eververse, personally. Maybe because I love...
They're made for a different era with a different audience in mind.
Yeah.
Like when Smallville started, I mean, that was around the time of the first X-Men movie. You got to remember that.
Mm-hmm.
When everybody's vision of what a superhero looks like is just tight black leather.
Yeah,
it took a long time to transition into the colorful and practical costumes of, say, the MCU or the Arrowverse.
Yeah,
so you got to keep that in mind. So, for the most part, the first incarnation of the Justice League, their costumes were basically just hoodies with the colors of the characters from the comics.
Pretty much.
And like Clark Kent, a red shirt and a blue jacket, or a blue shirt with a red jacket. Arthur Curry, orange shirt, green pants. Like that was the costumes at the time, and you know, it took a long time before people took these sort of superhero properties seriously. But Smallville was definitely a pioneer in that regard.
100%, and I'll never take that away from it. Like I said, the theme song just doesn't really do it for me.
I think part of the reason is because you skip it. Like, I didn't quite like the first time, but like after 10 seasons, which I watched twice, by the way, it grew on me.
I didn't always skip it. It did actually. It was on my iPod at one point. It's just over the years, it just, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It doesn't age well.
And then that happens too with like my dad's favorite band is the Eagles.
Oh.
And one of the best songs of the Eagles is Hotel California. And my dad said when they overplayed that on the radio, he didn't want to listen to Hotel California for a while. But now that it's not overplayed anymore, it's a phenomenal song. So I guess, too, it's the same way like what you said with Friends. If they overplay something, you kind of don't want to listen to it anymore.
Yeah, I feel the same way about Kiss. Like, their most famous song is Rock and Roll All Night. But it's, in reality, it's one of their worst songs.
Yeah.
It's overplayed and what have you. So for years, it's kind of back on now. But for years, it was not on my iPod or anything like that. Because it was overplayed, and I don't consider it a good song at all.
You just reminded me something, and since this is still technically my number one pick, you just reminded me something, Soul. Something that I had in my honorable mentions but forgot about it. Another Israeli show, the song, for The Pajamas. It's a TV show about a band living in a shitty apartment in Tel Aviv, trying to be a successful band while also working at a burger place. And their song, "Come to the Party of the Pajamas." The name of the song, the name of the band is The Pajamas. And part of their shtick is that they perform while wearing pajamas. Oh, that's where they got the name. And
hey, at least they're comfy.
Yeah, and they did a cover version of Hotel California. That's how I reminded of the song.
Interesting.
Nice.
Okay.
But yeah, that's another one of my honorable mentions. So that's all my picks for this week.
All right. And Soul, close it out for us.
is the same for my number one of sitcoms. Now this is a story. It's just turned upside down. So
And
yeah,
I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how we get the Prince with Uncle Billy.
yes, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, 100%, 100% number one. Should be everyone's number one. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Funny enough, out of all the ones that we've listened to, this is the only one that is on my iPod.
There you go. Is the full version or
The full-
just
The greatest hits, yeah.
yeah? So like honestly, this is the one that needs to be on your iPod or listening device, iPhone, whatever you have. So this is one of the best intro songs to any show ever. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, an amazing show.
I wouldn't argue how good it is. It's just because the other ones mean a little.
Right.
It couldn't have been a sitcom's theme song list without having it on there.
Hey, at least I'm bringing Big Willie style.
It's,
And it's rare that the main star of a TV show also performed the main theme song.
mhm.
I mean, Raven
We
Simone
talking
did
Big
that, so Raven, Drake and Josh
I said it's rare. I didn't say it never happened. I just wanted to point that out.
at the time. It's less rare now.
Yes.
It was much more rare back then. It's less rare now.
Ben, you're about to say something?
No, I forgot what I was going to say.
So I've had time off this week, so I decided to binge watch Blossom because why the hell not? And what's funny is in the first couple seasons, like they have a lot of guest stars, or whatever. Well, the Fresh Prince was on as the Fresh Prince, okay, but a couple episodes later, Hillary Banks was on as Hillary Banks, and I'm like, what the hell is this?
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it would have been the next season or whatever, but it's just like, okay, my mind's breaking right now.
Well, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, I'm going to say this. When James Avery made a surprise cameo at the end of Family Matters in one episode,
Yes, he did.
which was awesome at the time.
Yeah.
Hey,
It's
Well,
all
what
connected.
what I
well,
need going forward, going back to Will Smith, is I need more movies to have the end credit song be a summation of what happened in the movie, like Will Smith did with Wild Wild West, with Men in Black. I'm gonna need a rap about what happened in the movie to be the end credit song to more movies.
Not, to be honest. Maybe because he started taking on more serious roles.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, like Gemini Man.
Never seen it, not going to see it.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
I'll say that. That's not something you want to hear about a Will Smith movie.
Right.
That's-
After it.
no.
But Matt,
Yes.
you're next week.
Okay, so
And
yeah.
you want to tease our little series.
Okay, so we had this discussion in our group chat because there was originally animated stuff, whatever. We decided it'd probably be better to split this list into 3 categories. So this week we did top 5 live action TV theme songs. Next week, animated, not anime, animated. So that's what's going to be the list for next week. That's going to be a fun one to do.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
I already pretty much have my list.
I think we all know Fifth is number one. If I had to guess. Maybe
I mean, honestly though,
I do.
50 has surprised us. It always shows up on the list, but it's not always number 1.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make a guess that it's like number 3 or 4.
I don't know. I think his first one is going to be about a modern Stone Age family, don't you?
maybe.
Maybe.
Why are you giving so many spoilers away, Matt?
I don't know. I'm hungry.
Go get yourself some food.
That's your stomach, these sounds that we're hearing in the background.
Yeah, pretty much. My stomach does growl pretty loud.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so that's what's going to be the list for next week is top 5 animated TV show themes with lyrics, of course, because those are much more fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ben, where can everybody find you?
You can find me at BedRadio2 every Tuesday on Shooting Up Brief and Matt, every Friday on Recapping the Past, every Saturday right here, every Sunday on Men Hot Takes. And every Saturday I'm back to slow down my small down show centering on players' careers over time. Today we're going over the career of the chairman himself, Christian Hall.
All right. So, where can everybody find you?
You can find me at SoulGovan on Twitter, and you can also find me later today on Joe and Roka's YouTube channel for the Ultimate Schmodown After Show. We have Drew McQueenie on today, so go check that out. We also have King Khan, and oh man, I always forget like one of the three guests every time. Thomas Harper. That's who else we have on, the Dragon Con person himself. So go check that out.
Okay, 50.
You can find me on my channel, 50 Shades of Geek. You can find me on my second channel, 50 Shades of Gaming. I do less stuff on Twitch right now as 50 Shades of Geek because I got a new job, as I mentioned previously in this show. But yeah, I'll find someday to do some more stuff. I'm planning to do some more stuff with the new Pokemon Snap as soon as that comes out, but I'm just going to have to find a way to time to do it. And you can also find me on Patreon. I'm designing a Pokemon fan game based on Israel, and you may or may not see some of the shows that I mentioned on this show, some of the Israeli shows and theme songs, make it into the game. And you can also get early access to the music for that as soon as I'll have something to share on my Patreon. And you can also catch me later getting a full earshot from my mom about why Saul didn't watch The Big Bang Theory.
Sorry, 50s mom.
And then for me, you can find me at soda_the_saxman on Instagram and Twitter. You can find me on the shows that Ben mentioned here as well. And you can also find me on my other YouTube channel, Schmoes of the North, where every week we break down the week's matches and what have you. So yes, thank you very much for joining us, everybody. And we will see you next week with our top 5 animated themes. So don't forget, stay sweaty and smash cancer.